Welcome into the Picks, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, your guide to the Texas high school football weekend. My name is Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. And after one of the wildest weeks in Texas high school football we've seen in quite some time, in Week 5, we are now on to Week 6. We are on to October, and we are on to one of the lightest weeks of the year. Now, that's not to say there aren't great games across the state. There certainly are. But this is the largest open date in Texas high school football this season because 6 teams is the most common size of districts. There's 5 district games, and so teams take one bye week before going into district play. That's why more than 29% of the state is off this week. But that's not to say there aren't huge games across the state. Games are going to have massive statewide implications. Every corner of the state has them. We start in the DFW Metroplex. 7 o'clock Friday night at C.H. Collins Stadium in Denton. It is a state-ranked matchup of Titans as the Denton Ryan Raiders welcome in the Aledo Bearcats. What are the keys to this matchup? Key number 1 about last year. In order to talk about this meeting, we need to talk about the last meeting between these two teams in which Denton Ryan stunned Aledo 31-21 in the regional final last season. It was a remarkable victory for this Ryan team that has been close but had never gotten over the hump against Aledo. It was an inspired effort for the Raiders, and now all they got to go do is do it again, right? Now, Aledo is still smarting from that, plain and simple. I'm sure they have not stopped talking about the way that last season ended, and consider this. Aledo has not lost to the same team in consecutive years since 2007 and 2008 when Everman beat them. Remember that for a little bit later. Now, here's the thing. Ryan now believes that they can go out there and beat Aledo, but Aledo has their mindset on revenge. So, with that as the backdrop, how does this year's version play out? Key number 2, Ryan's defense versus Aledo's offense. This is, for me, the money matchup when it comes to this ball game because both these teams have elite units on that side of the ball. The Ryan defense has been spectacular this year, allowing just 11.5 points per game. They have big-time playmakers everywhere like Demario Ruth and Cookie Warmate up front. Their front 7 in particular is very nasty. Now, this is an Aledo team that has had no problems scoring. Their running game has been fantastic with Caden Winkfield. They've got a big-time weapon on the outside in Caden Finley. This team is loaded for bear. They are a big-time threat to this Ryan defense. So that is the real power struggle here. That is the good on good here. What happens when Aledo has the ball and Denton Ryan's trying to stop him? And key number 3, the streak. So you remember how earlier I mentioned that the last team to beat Aledo in consecutive years was Everman back in 2007 and 2008. We'll flash it back to that first meeting, back on October of 2007 when Everman knocked off Aledo. That was the last time Aledo lost a district game, October 2007. They've won 130 straight district games. Yes. The last time they lost a district game, their leading tackler this year, Chase Wilbur, was not born. Okay? This has been the most unstoppable streak in Texas high school football history. 130 straight district games. Now, last time we saw these two teams, Denton Ryan beat them, so it can certainly happen. But, plain and simple, can Ryan do what nobody has done in almost 18 years? Who am I picking? I'm going with Aledo. Are you crazy? I'm not picking against an 130-game winning streak, okay? If Ryan wins, I'll just be wrong, okay? But I will say this. Aledo's secret weapon this year, I think, is their defense, and that's where I think they may have an advantage against Quinn Hennigan, what has been a pretty darn good Ryan attack. This Aledo defense is flying around. When you add in what they're able to do offensively and the revenge factor, I think the Bearcats are the favorite. Now, Ryan can certainly do it. We've seen them do it. But I think that the history leans towards Aledo. I think the Bearcats bring home a victory. Let's go out west. 7 o'clock Friday night at J.M. King Memorial Stadium in Midland. It is a battle of surprise unbeatens as the Midland Greenwood Rangers take on the Lubbock Liberty Patriots. And both of these teams are 5-0. Both of them are rolling, and both of them have arrived at this moment kind of in different ways. Greenwood, I don't think it's necessarily a surprise that they are 5-0. This was my preseason pick to win their region, and they have looked every bit the part of a legit contender en route to their undefeated start. Quarterback Lincoln Madrid has been terrific. I love this defense led by Dakota Underhill, allowing just 11 points per game. Lubbock Liberty is the real party crasher here. 5-0, coming off of a couple weeks ago, a really impressive win over Seminole. Colton Bouchard, their quarterback, has been a lot of fun. The new program there in Cooper ISD outside of Lubbock has been a real revelation under Coach Joe Sexton. And this is their biggest game maybe in program history. As small as that history may be, this is just their second season of varsity play. Going on the road to take on a really good Greenwood team. This is the last non-district game for both of these teams, and I think we're going to see some fireworks. I think being at home on homecoming helps for Greenwood here. Give me the Rangers. Let's go to Houston, 7 o'clock Friday night at the Rig in Perland. It is a big-time rivalry matchup with a ton on the line as the Perland Oilers take on the Perland Dawson Eagles. It's another rivalry renewed here, the Battle of Perland, and big stakes in this one, especially for Dawson, coming off of a inspired victory over Alvin Shadow Creek last week. They are in position to take command of this district if they can come away with this rivalry win. I'm really impressed with what quarterback Luke Brown has done this year, and their defense, more importantly, I think has really grown as the season has gone on. They look really, really strong right now. Well, they will be tested against a Perland attack that is undefeated and absolutely rolling. The sixth highest scoring offense in all of Class 6A, led by running back Jamari Champion and their outstanding quarterback Jake Westmoreland. And for me, that is the money matchup here. It is the Dawson defense against this Perland attack. Now, these two teams, of course, know each other very well down there in Perland ISD, and traditionally this has been a very close rivalry, and it's been very evenly matched. Neither team has ever won more than 2 games in a row in this series. For now, I lean a little bit towards Perland. I think their attack has a way to get through, but this is going to be one of the best games of the week. Give me Perland. And 7 o'clock Friday night at Indian Stadium in Port Neches. It is a big-time 5A Division II matchup as the Huntsville Hornets visit the Port Neches Groves Indians. And we are only 5 weeks into the season, but I am ready to declare that this Port Neches Groves offense is the best that Jeff Joseph has had during his outstanding tenure there. And yes, I mean better than the one that won a state championship a couple of years ago. Quarterback Connor Bailey is in complete command of this offense. They've got big-time weapons on the outside like Seth Brisboe. They have got a massive offensive line. And last week against Lake Creek, that was exactly how you want to play a ball game. Their first 5 drives, they had 5 touchdowns, and Lake Creek did not have a first down until the 3rd quarter. It was a virtuoso performance, and they looked really, really strong. Now they have an opportunity to take it to a Huntsville team that can run the ball with the best of them. Running back Trayshawn Brown has been terrific. Dual threat quarterback Zay Adolphe is a lot of fun to watch. That's a real fun matchup, this P&G defense against this running game for Huntsville. But the question for me for Huntsville is, can that defense bow up against this attack there for P&G? The other thing about it, for Huntsville, they're going into hostile territory. Indian Stadium is a very difficult place to play. That is one of the reasons I like P&G to get the win.
The Picks is brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. Don't have time to go to a Dick's store this week? Just go to Dicks.com.
Yo, these Katie's are fire. Bro, you work here?
Whatever, kid. Take notes. Yo, I can go all pro in these.
I can guard you and route you up.
You sure about that?
Not anymore.
Fellas looking for a quarterback?
The goal!
Billy needs cleats. You're right, Billy. These do bring out my eyes.
Every shoe for every athlete, only at Dick's.
Dick's is the GOAT.
But those are far from the only big games in Week 6 of the Texas high school football season. Let's get to the lightning round. I like Yoakum over Blanco. Give me Wall over Idalou. And I think Tioga gets a win over Tom Bean. I like Victoria West over Kerrville-Tivy. The Woodlands College Park takes down Willis. And down on the coast, give me Sinton over Corpus Christi Calallen. Up at the Panhandle, I like Stratford over Childress. Down in the Valley, I like Santa Maria over La Villa. And kind of in between, I like Seminole over Hereford. I like San Antonio Southwest over San Antonio Southside. Southwest Legacy gets a win over Laredo Nixon. And I'm going with Rockwall over Longview. In our private school game of the week, I like Pasadena First Baptist over Huntsville Alpha Omega. Port Arthur Memorial stays hot with a win over Galveston Ball. And Poth gets a win over Nixon Smiley. Lufkin bounces back with a win over Beaumont Westbrook. Jefferson bounces back with a win over Atlanta. And down in Humble, it's a big one. I like Summer Creek over Atascocita. I'm going with Iola over Somerville. Give me Dangerfield over DeKalb. And in a battle of unbeatens, I like Orange Grove over Corpus Christi West Oso. I like Columbus over Rogers. Give me surprising Coahoma to stay hot with a win over Littlefield. And Nederland takes down Dayton. In our six-man game of the week, battle of unbeatens, I like Benjamin over Cherokee. Cedar Park gets a win over Leando Rouse. And down in the Rio Grande Valley, I like Los Fresnos over Sharyland. Axtell beats Valley Mills. Give me Abilene over Amarillo. And it's a huge game in Laredo. I like United over United South. Killeen Shoemaker stays hot with a win over Hewitt Midway. Kilgore stays hot with a win over Henderson. And staying out east, I like Honey Grove over Como-Picton. I like Ganado over Kennedy. Give me Galena Park North Shore over Kingwood. And it's a matchup of unbeatens in Frisco ISD. I like Lone Star over Frisco High. El Paso El Dorado gets a win over El Paso Americas. Give me El Paso Eastwood over El Paso East Lake. And I like East Chambers over Hardin. I'm going with Coppell over Denton Geyer, and Brownsville Veterans Memorial gets a win over Sharyland Pioneer. I like Amarillo Paladuro over Wichita Falls Memorial, and it's a big game in the big country. I like Abilene Wiley over Abilene Cooper. And those are the picks. What am I wrong about? Which games did I leave out? Leave comments down below. Don't forget that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks for watching. Enjoy week 6 of the Texas high school football season. We'll see you.